Pakistan never claims terrorists in their country, and India never claims that Pakistan army is being involved. We saw Pulwama attack. India also claims that the attack was being possessed by the Pakistan area of POK.
Today we have the pleasure of hosting Dhruraj Jhala, a dynamic young leader and entrepreneur. Dhruraj is the vice chair of the UNSC committee at KZN-MUN, bringing a wealth of experience from numerous international conferences. He currently serves as the president of the MUN club at PIS Rajkot and is the founder of Edox MUN. Beyond his impressive MUN credential, he is also a budding entrepreneur and an active trader.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's my honor to be here.
Let's start from the connecting agenda. Is world enjoying terrorism, and if not, what's making every country not stop it?
Ma'am, the question holds two statements, and both the statement is very controversial. When we talk about terrorism, it's not always about India telling about POK. It's not always about Israel telling to Palestine, and it's always about having negotiations and peace treaty. Ma'am, where the whole world is having sanctions on the Russian Federation, at the same time Russia is giving crude oil cheaper to India. So somehow it's beneficial to India. And ma'am, at the same time, there are countries in the Middle East who are providing weapons at cheaper price. So somehow the production factories of weapons who are connected to this are also getting benefit. And there are countries in the eastern, western, all the sides, including the United States, who always promote that we should be someone who should promote negotiation and should promote draft resolution. But ma'am, at the same time, these are the country who uses veto power and are the factors that UN charters are not applicable. There is not a single country right now who haven't broken the UN charters. And the second question, what's stopping country from this thing? Ma'am, any change in the world can't be done by someone individually. If India wants something to be done in Pakistan, Pakistan should take the responsibility what they are doing. And if India is claiming a statement that they are the real owners of the land, there should be country who are supporting. We are seeing India is having different map of India, claiming POK is their part. We have Pakistan claiming that POK is their part. We have China claiming a different map. But there is not a single map of the United Nations which has been passed by everyone where it has been claimed. And ma'am, when we talk about POK, the name derives the answer, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. But Kashmir is also part of Pakistan and India. So somehow the United Nations need to give priority to the agenda which are not their concerns. And we shall move forward with a resolution where terrorism may end. It will take time, but it will be done.
Okay. Why draft resolutions of the previous few MUNs were facing problems to get passed, though they were negotiable and necessary?
Ma'am, when we talk about draft resolution and the bills in the Indian committees, most of the delegates' perspective is to win. And we always have 2 or 3 blocks in United Nations. So, for example, let's have 2 blocks. One will be of the Russian Federation and one will be of the United States. And the agenda will be the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, both the blocks have their own solutions. But somehow, there will be few solutions which will be negotiable. But what they think is, if their draft resolution will be passed, they will get few points. What they think is, if we will be the sponsor of a draft resolution, we will get few marks. If we will be signatory, we will get marks. Somehow they want to create a certain image in the mind of chairs that they want to be highlighted. And for being highlighted, they need the majority. And in a United Nations, there is no majority. If it's in Indian committee, if it's BJP and INDI, and United Nations, we have India and Pakistan. Both the countries have their own supporter. We have Afghanistan and the eastern countries supporting one country, and we have Russia and Japan countries supporting India. So in United Nations, if you want to pass something, it should be passed by everyone. And the delegates face the same problem. They don't think about everyone. They just think about winning the best delegate. They think about being highlighted in the committee. They just want to dominate. They don't want to be negotiable. So the thing is, delegates need to move forward with everyone.
Okay, and why most of the UN resolutions get failed?
Ma'am, when we talk about the United Nations and specifically about the resolution, there are few countries who are possessing veto powers, including the United States, France, and UK. somehow these countries are in same alliance, and if there is any resolution by opposition, they usually feel it. And India got the veto, but they passed it to China, and now it's being a threat. So somehow all the alliances have their own veto power. When India needs a veto, US will help. When Pakistan needs a veto, China will help. So somehow this veto power is being problem to everyone. So this will be a problem in future also.
Okay. And what about United Nations view at Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and what do you think about the Indian army casualty?
Ma'am, when we talk about the United Nations view in POK, it's not the view of just United Nations. It's view of more than 100 countries, where it also includes the Eastern and the Western, also India for sure. As I said before, there is different map of POK for everyone, but there is not a single map again passed by the United Nations. But ma'am, this same situation was being raised in the Jerusalem, yeah, at the Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is the capital of Israel for Israel. But the United Nations stated that Jerusalem is not a part of Israel. It should not be the capital. But right now also Israel claims it as their capital. So in that situation, the United Nations have given them some certain areas where they should not occupy it. But they are not following it, right? So same situation comes in POK. But when we talk about solution and when we talk about views, somehow I feel that for having some solution, there should be some discussion. There is not single discussion in the United Nations. There are less than 10 discussion in entire United Nations till this date about POK. When Pakistan tried to raise some motion on POK, India feels it. When India tries, Pakistan feels it. Somehow both the countries should come forward for the negotiation and to justify what and who claims that part. So somehow the main reason United Nations view on this is there is no single motion getting passed. And when we talk about your second statement, what about the casualties of the Indian army? Ma'am, Pakistan never claims terrorists in their country, and India never claims that Pakistan army is being involved. Ma'am, we saw Pulwama attack. India also claims that the attack was being possessed by the Pakistan area of POK. There is no military action in POK. There is just terrorists being there. The attack was done by terrorist organization, but the country who suffered from this is India. The casualty was of Indian army. There was no casualty of Pakistan army. In return, they had surgical strike. They had air strike. They had strike in POK. There was no casualty of the Pakistan army. So if this scenario gets repeated for next 5 or 10 years, the solution or the resolution will be existing nowhere, because somehow India is not trying to finish off the territory where they really possess out. And ma'am, if we see the statistic, right now more than 1,000 of the Indian army have been killed by this act, and there is not a single army of Pakistan who has been dead. Because ma'am, look forward in this thing. Pakistan army is totally out of this matter. This is fight between the terrorist and the Indian army, and somehow India is just suffering because Pakistan never fund them, right? And ma'am, we can't give pension to a country or to a person who is doing as passionate. There is no difference between a government employee getting a pension and a person serving in the Indian army who is living their entire family backside and sacrificing their entire life. We have more than 100 of people who haven't got their pension also, but we have more than 1,000 people in the Indian government getting pension regularly. So the government should also look after this point and separate this thing, right?
Okay. At KZMUN, we've observed that delegates often avoid countries like Pakistan, Iran, and Sudan. However, representing these nations does or doesn't affect their performance. And it can actually highlight a delegate's skill and diplomacy and problem solving skills.
Ma'am, my few first MUNs, I had the mentality to choose few countries who have good image in the society. As all of us are part of India, we have the mindset that Pakistan is not a good country, they possess terrorism. And same vice versa, the people who took birth in Pakistan have the mentality that India is not a good country. But somehow we are in MUN to get exposure. Somehow we need to learn that we are not here just for supporting our own mindset. If somehow anyone is presenting the United States, they are not presenting United States, they are presenting billions of people who are living there. So somehow it doesn't affect which country do you take. If it's Pakistan, if someone takes Pakistan, it's not about them getting points or not. It's somehow how they are presenting the mindset of Pakistan, how they are presenting the views of Pakistan. Somehow people think that if they will get veto power like UK, if they will get countries like Japan, Switzerland who are neutral in everywhere, they will be out of matter. No, every country will be targeted somehow. If we take Switzerland, you or me, everyone knows Switzerland is a peaceful country, but they will also get targeted that why aren't they getting involved in the refugees? Why is Switzerland not taking refugees from Palestine? And if anyone thinks that India is a good country, then why is India not able to take PUK, though it's their part? Why is India not able to take Akshay, though it's their own part? So it's not about taking a country which you are having a good knowledge. Also, ma'am, delegate think that why not to take the same country which they took previously? If some delegate previously took the United Kingdom, they will take why not to take UK again? Ma'am, it's not always about taking UK again. It's always about a different agenda. Different agenda should be taken by different things. It's also a request to each and every delegate who are participating, have a exposure and take new countries so you can know what's going on internationally in the United Nations. Yes.
Okay, can I know about your first MUN experience?
So I had my first experience in 2022 in PIS MUN where I'm serving right now as president. It's my real pleasure to be right now here telling you my entire story of MUN. So my first MUN was PIS MUN second edition and I was the delegate of Venom. It was a CCC committee, Marvel versus DC. And the main reason I joined that MUN was I was having my exams at that time and I really didn't wanted to give my exam. So I was having a kind of offer that if I'll join that, I won't be giving the paper. So I did it. And at that time, I thought MUN is not my job. I should not be part of this. But somehow I wanted to be out of that exam things. But after day one, when the chair said us that now you need to make the draft resolution, now you need to have diplomacy, now you need to take other blocks. Somehow I thought it's a kind of exposure again. And I thought that it's out of blue, like somehow it's out of my own field that I should do it. And I also won the High Commendation Award. Somehow winning that gave me motivation that yes, this is a thing which we can look forward to.
Okay. Okay, so what's your final advice to first timers and who are not participating in this MUN?
Okay, the advice to first timer is that ask to experienced delegates. Most of us, you will be having friends that who already have been part of most of MUNs, as ma'am will be knowing that this podcast also claims that information to each and every one of you. And one of the advice will be out of your field. It's always not about knowing what you know. Sometimes it's about knowing what you don't know. Try to go out of your capacity. Try to research where you haven't done yet. It's not about UN charters. It's not about the study guide which chairs provide you. Sometimes it's about opening the websites which you haven't till this date. And if it's a message to first timer, it's a clear message. They are missing a lot of things because somehow the MUN circuit in Rajkot right now is moving too far. And if we move 5 years back, there was no kind of MUN things here. And right now, after each and every month, we are having Model United Nations. And after 5 or 10 years more, there will be no single child who don't know about MUN. And if they will be asked what your MUN experience is, they will be saying nothing. Also, if you participate in MUN, you will be getting a letter of recommendation, which will be helpful you in future. So somehow it's to do something. Something is better than nothing. So it's a request, just try it for one. You can't judge a book by its cover, so you can't judge MUN without participating in it.
Okay. Or you can just participate to skip your exams.
Yeah, just I did.